against a police state, against racist intersectionality, against political correctness, against mob rule, against the racist socialist left, against the victimhood liars. The idiots have been in charge way too long. And that's why you're here. For the podcast you need. All for liberty all the time. Welcome to Liberty Bites Back. With your host, Brandon Amash.
Welcome to the 10th episode of Liberty Bites Back. In this episode, I will be going over Kamala Harris and Jo Jorgensen agreeing with Antifa. How the Black Lives Matter endorsement made by Jo Jorgensen destroyed her chances. Justin Amash falling into thinking Joe Biden is a libertarian like all of Jo Jorgensen's supporters. And California voting against the racist Democrat plans. And then I'll be going over the election race that's barking throughout the country. The Marxist and Antifa ideas of getting rid of equality and replacing it with equity. These ideas were pushed by Jo Jorgensen and Kamala Harris. First, I'm going to show you what Jo Jorgensen tweeted out agreeing and spreading the messages of Antifa. Then, what Kamala Harris placed out, pushing for the end of equality and the push and establishment of equity.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests, everyone should get the same amount. The problem with that, not everybody's starting out from the same place. So if we're all getting the same amount, but you started out back there and I started out over here, we can get the same amount, but you're still going to be that far back behind me. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. Equitable treatment means we all end up at the same place.
The agreement and push for Antifa ideas is the complete reasons for the tension in the nation. They are both caving to the mobs, the rioters, the pushers and establishers of Marxist communism, and the end of the dreams of Martin Luther King Jr. Allowing equality to end in this nation for the lies of equity, which is basically in the stances of intersectionality and critical race theory. More or less, it means the establishment of racism in the United States, as they push their racist ideology to change and fundamentally destroy this country, destroying us all based on our skin color, destroying the ideas of Martin Luther King Jr., wanting to base everything off of skin color, the ideology ignoring even our real race, but instead just wanting to judge all people based off opinion, ideology, and skin color. It's a racist or skin color biased way of destroying our rights and freedoms in what is supposed to be a constitutional republic. All of these actions are in the face of even civil rights law. And they now advocate to ignore and destroy civil rights law, which will only and can only divide the country further than ever. Both Jo Jorgensen and Kamala Harris's pictographs of equity, their pictographs of equity are unable to be determined from those interpretations into real life, but are only being seen as wishing all people to be classless, like the Marxist communist pipe dream. While Jo Jorgensen understood, like all libertarians, who the worst president of the United States of America was, which is Woodrow Wilson, for the establishment of the 16th Amendment, which established the federal income tax in the Federal Reserve Act. That's just basic understanding of any libertarian. She always agrees with these points that are basic. They're very basic, and everyone's saying them. It ain't nothing new. She showed more poise than Gary Johnson, most memorable gaffe about Aleppo, but not knowing that Aleppo was an Assyrian city that was greatly destroyed during the Barack Obama's responses to the Syrian CIA-induced civil war, well, that did not stop Gary Johnson from getting a 3.27% of the national vote to swing to him. While he received that 3.27%, Antifa and Black Lives Matter pushing Jo Jorgensen, who looked like a Democrat in libertarian clothing, the clothing being the party's platform, and always sounded way better than her mouth or her Twitter account. She only seen 1.1%, and there's no way it could even ever reach 1.5%. Even if recounts and other such things may find more of our votes. This is a split of 1/3 of the vote in the Libertarian Party that was achieved by Gaff speaking, "Where's Aleppo? What is Aleppo?" Gary Johnson. He got over 3% of the vote. And her far-left rhetoric and the allowance of the ideas that entered the Libertarian Party, that's destroyed the momentum of the liberty movement in the Libertarian Party. Instead, many of her supporters are now, they're very scared of a Biden winning, than even wondering about her votes themselves. While some like Justin Amash, though, they're praying for Joe Biden win. Oh yeah. The leftists she introduced and allowed in the Libertarian Party were on the lines of saying Joe Biden is a libertarian. And they may have created issues that will forever inflict and hurt the Libertarian Party as a whole. Giving into riots, destruction of private property, mob mentality, the allowance of ostracizing who she needed to vote for her, and made her one of the worst candidates that ever existed in the Libertarian Party. She pushed equity over equality. She pushed the intersectionality and critical race theory thought line of anti-racism, which to the left is racist ideas of hating the so-called privileged. Allowing an SJW to be the figurehead and the voice of the Libertarian Party, divided it in half, divided it in a third, and I fear many will not learn their lesson in the Libertarian Party. Without a Mrs. Caucus aligning candidate, we will be doomed to more and more dramatic losses, and many should know she lost to me this election, and it's also because of these issues. Justin Amash, apparently he doesn't even own a dictionary. He tweeted after Trump gave his election night speech. Well, first let's hear that.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please sit. Thank you. This is without question the latest news conference I've ever had. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people. And we won't stand for it. We will not stand for it. I want to thank the First Lady, my entire family, and Vice President Pence, Mrs. Pence, for being with us all through this. And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. The results tonight have been phenomenal, and we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good, such a vote, such a success. The citizens of this country have come out in record numbers. This is a record. There's never been anything like it. To support our incredible movement, we won states that we weren't expected to win. Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by a lot. And we won the great state of Ohio. We won Texas. We won Texas. We won Texas by 700,000 votes, and they don't even include it in the tabulations. It's also clear that we have won Georgia. We're up by 2.5% or 117,000 votes with only 7% left. They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us. Likewise, we've clearly won North Carolina, where we're up 1.4% or 77,000 votes with only approximately 5% left. They can't catch us. We also, if you look and you see, Arizona, we have a lot of life in that. And somebody declared that it was a victory for, and maybe it will be. I mean, that's possible. But certainly there were a lot of votes out there that we could get, because we're now just coming into what they call Trump territory. I don't know what you call it, but these were friendly Trump voters, and that could be overturned. The gentleman that called it, I watched tonight, he said, well, we think it's fairly unlikely that he could catch. Well, fairly unlikely. And we don't even need it. We don't need that. That was just a state that if we would have gotten it, it would have been nice, Arizona. But there's a possibility, maybe even a good possibility. In fact, since I saw that originally, it's been changed and the numbers have substantially come down just in a small amount of votes. So we want that obviously to stay in play. But most importantly, we're winning Pennsylvania by a tremendous amount of votes. We're up 600. Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 690,000. These aren't even close. It's not like, oh, it's close. With 64% of the vote in, it's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your president. I mean, it's like very good. So we'll probably expand that. We're winning Michigan by, I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes, and 65% of the vote is in. And we're winning Wisconsin, so we're winning. We don't need all of them. We need, because when you add Texas in, which wasn't added, I spoke with the really wonderful governor of Texas just a little while ago, and Greg Abbott, he said, congratulations. He called me to congratulate me on winning Texas. I mean, we won Texas. I don't think they finished quite the tabulation, but there's no way. And it was almost complete, but he congratulated me. Then he said, by the way, what's going on? I've never seen anything like this. Can I tell you what? Nobody has. So we won by 107,000 votes with 81% of the vote. That's Michigan. So when you take those three states in particular, and you take all of the others, I mean, we have so many, we had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. And all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. we won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And we have all these announcers saying, what happened? And then they said, oh, because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't win, so they said, let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they were going to send out tens of millions of ballots. I said exactly, because either they were going to win, or if they didn't win, they'll take us to court. So Florida was a tremendous victory, 377,000. Texas, as we said. Ohio, think of this. Ohio, a tremendous state, a big state. I love Ohio. We won by 8.1%, 461,000. Think of it. Almost 500,000 votes. North Carolina, big victory with North Carolina. And so we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment, and we will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank all of our support. I want to thank all of the people that worked with us, and Mr. Vice President, say a few words, please. Please.
Justin Amash, after hearing that, tweeted, "That was one of the most dishonest and despotic speeches ever given by the President of the United States." What he forgets to do is look up the definition of the words he is using. Justin Amash, open up a dictionary. See what in the heck you're saying before you say it. Let's take a look at despotic. Despotic is from despot. The definition is a ruler with absolute power and authority, one exercising power tyrannically, a person exercising absolute power in a brutal or oppressive way. Nothing that Trump did or said could be considered despotic, as all is legal in what he said. Justin Amash may need to understand law and get some understanding of the processes of the government. He truly lost my respect in that one argument he made, showing Trump derangement syndrome over reality and facts. Really, at the time, Trump said such things. Amash also said absolutely nothing when Joe Biden did the same as Donald Trump. As we know, much of the winning will not be shown now, but we will know probably in December. Now, hear now what Biden said, and just note, Justin Amash, who is supposed to be a libertarian, has sounded way more like a Democrat than anything, like his endorsement of Jo Jorgensen may have shown he always was.
After a long night of counting, it's clear that we're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency. I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report that when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners. With all the votes counted, we have won Wisconsin by 20,000 votes, virtually the same margin that President Trump won that state 4 years ago. In Michigan, we lead by over 35,000 votes, and it's growing. A substantially bigger margin than President Trump won Michigan in 2016. Michigan will complete its vote soon, maybe as early as today. And I feel very good about Pennsylvania. Virtually all the remaining ballots to be counted were cast by mail. And we've been winning 78% of the votes by mail in Pennsylvania. We've flipped Arizona and the 2nd District of Nebraska. Of special significance to me is that we've won with the majority of the American people. And every indication is that that majority will grow. We have a popular vote lead of nearly 3 million votes, and every indication is that will grow as well. Indeed, Senator Harris and I are on track to win more votes than any ticket in the history of this country that ever won the presidency and vice presidency.
Why is he not holding both feet to the fire? Because he, Justin Amash, is cheering for Joe Biden to win. He said not a damn thing about stopping the vote, which was the most fishiest thing about this election. Stopping the voting counting in all of these states, and Justin Amash said nothing. He doesn't hear that. He doesn't care. And Donald Trump supporters, when they're saying stop the vote, they're not meaning that. They're meaning to get their people in there and watch them count these votes. But trust me, they surely want them counted. I've never seen an election like this year. I think it should be clear when they decide to stop voting that the claims of fraud would be in the mouths of all people. Nobody is going to trust the election since so many fishy, unprecedented things occurred that never were seen before. California's Proposition 16 was voted down. The people have spoken. They have decided to keep civil rights law. But now the Democrats are pushing it, and the Democrats nationwide are upset since they wanted to repeal civil rights law to allow racism back in America. The accomplishment of Martin Luther King Jr. was in the aims of destruction from the Democrats. They no longer want to treat everyone the same. They no longer want to be inclusive. They no longer want to be non-racist. Trading the greatness of treating everyone the same regardless of skin color for treating everyone differently based on their skin color. That's exactly what the Democrat Party wants. They want to treat everyone differently based on their skin color. That is their aims, that is their goal, and that is sadly what they will push with their ideology of intersectionality, critical race theory, and the political correct tyrannical 1984-like newspeak language that they use that lies to them all, and they believe in it. All of these create a weird type of racist Democrats pushing the abolition of civil rights law through the name of affirmative action. Affirmative action is the action of treating people positively due to their skin color while also negatively treating others based on their skin color. But they just don't focus on the positive action. That's all they focus on. They just see the positive action that they're doing. They don't look at the negative that they accomplish through affirmative action. But with this proposition, it would not just establish that idea, but repeal the civil rights law, allowing the aims of negative and positive, and not just the misjudgment of the negative. With this repeal, it would have led to many aiming to even do the negatives. In the name of affirmative action, California was trying to push the repeal of the civil rights law. The people have spoken and rejected the racist Democrat plans. Here is how it was explained from a yes vote to a no vote in California. A yes vote supports the constitutional amendment to repeal Proposition 209, 1996, which stated that the government and public institutions cannot discriminate against or grant preferential treatment to persons on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the public employment, public education, and public contracting. And the no vote opposes this constitutional amendment, therefore keeping Proposition 209, 1996, which stated that the government and public institutions cannot discriminate against or grant professional treatment to the persons on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the public employment, public education, and public contracting. Now, the Democrats pushing a yes vote are showing that they are for discriminating against treatment to persons on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the public employment, public education, and public contracting areas of their state. 6,589,502 people voted no, showing that they are not racist in the state of California. That was only 56.07% of the vote. And it's very sad that it was such a close vote. All people should have voted against this, to never allow discrimination in California. If they ever allow discrimination, that will be ridiculous in the United States of America. It's sad that Democrats are crying because they can't discriminate against people. They are so upset that they can't discriminate against treatment to persons on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the public employment, public education, and public contracting. 5,163,743 racist Democrats voted for this racist proposal. And it's ridiculous to know that that many racists exist in California. All on the left, after the years of them saying that all their racist theories on the right, this surely exposes themselves in the history books. This will be written down. They will be shown for what they are. They wanted to get rid of civil rights law. 43.93% of the vote was for this racist allowance of discriminating against treatment to persons on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the public employment, public education, and public contracting. Discriminating people on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the public employment, public education, and public contracting should always be shunned. It's so sad that the left is falling into racism. Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. They have elected their mayor in this 2020 election. This town has always had a race, never having a human as their mayor since 1988. All of their mayors, I guess you could say, have barked up the office. It was a tight race in 2020. Lady Stone, a border collie who serves as the town's ambassador, announced Wilbur's win on Tuesday night. The results are in from the most important election that happened this year. Lady Stone, the border collie, pawed onto the keyboard the post on social media. Wilbur will take the leash from the incumbent Bryant Prothal, a pit bull who won the 2016 race. Prothal has not released a statement about his defeat. Now, Mayor Wilbur is a French bulldog, and he's rolling with excitement over his win. The new mayor's owner is a 43-year-old Amy Nolan, and she says he's been doing a lot of campaigning. And this campaigning was surely a bone to bite, but he pulled it off. Now, Mayor Wilbur, the French bulldog, has received the highest voting count ever in that town, winning 13,143,000 of the 22,985 100 ballots. Thank you for the vote of confidence from local supporters, people from all over the world. It's an exciting adventure and deeply meaningful cause to preserve the river hamlet town of Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. Wilbur pawed into the keyboard to thank his voters. He surely is one of the most popular most popular mayors of this town, as all of the voters, all of those 13,143 people voted for him in the highest vote count. And he is winning over even this nation. Now, two of the runners-up, Jackrabbit, a beagle, and Poppy, a golden retriever, they will become Rabbit Hash ambassadors, joining Ambassador Lady Stone, the border collie, who earned her title after the 2016 election. Now, the Rabbit Hash Historical Society cannot thank all of the candidates enough for their hard work and dedication, the official said. The town was always filled with dogs, so it was a natural solution, and it took away all of the human aspects of politics, which was important to the town, said Wilbur's spokesperson and handler, Amy Nolan. I am humbled and beyond thankful for the support from far away and right here at home, Wilbur, the great French bulldog, pawed onto Facebook. Now, on this note, I would like to go ahead and thank you for tuning into the podcast, All for Liberty, all the time. Now, Liberty Bites Back's 10th episode was right here, and I hope that you have an amazing day. Peace.